Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. And let's sing together. We're going to sing an Advent carol this morning out of the Gray Hymn Book, hymn number 224, Let Christmas Come. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit, and let's sing together. Christmas come, its story told, when days are short and winds are cold. Let Christmas come, its lovely song, when evening's soon and the nights are long. Let Christmas come, its story on quiet city blocks of snow. Let Christmas come, its table gleam, love born again, and truth of dream. Thank you for singing. Please be seated.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for being here this morning in whatever way you have arrived. You are welcome here just as you are, whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways you are still becoming the person you will be. I'm the Reverend Mary Geer, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm honored to be the settled minister for this congregation. Today's service contains the voices of congregants who participated in an adult coming-of-age class this fall. 4 of the 5 people from the class will share something of their spiritual journey this morning. This class was led by the Reverend Sarah Lewis, the Director of Community and Faith Development, and who is also helping to lead worship today. We are joined by Troy Fisher, our music director. Here are a few things you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see the subtitles, which are sometimes creative, on the screen in front. And on Zoom, there are subtitles if you're online. Over here, we have fluffy chairs and activities for your hands so that everyone can be comfortable. We are a multi-generational community, and we value our young ones. Kids, babies, and teens are all welcome in the sanctuary. And there is nursery care and a story time program for children in the RE ring that way. So feel free to make your way there if that is a better fit for you.
We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. And for those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. At 11:30, after the coffee chat, please return to the main room or the sanctuary for a forum about our statewide Unitarian Universalist Justice Organization, Justice Washington, with JustWA's president, Deb Cruz. And today is the day to get your holiday cookie boxes. After the service, stop by the Cookie Brigade table in the Commons to pick up your box of regular or gluten-free cookies, $20 a box. All funds raised go to the Kitchen Fund, which provides coffee and hospitality all year long. Help the Cookie Brigade spread joy with butter and sugar. And then Saturday, December 16th at 2 p.m. and Sunday, December 17th at 7 p.m., We Remember Them, a requiem, will be presented by the OUUC Choir and Guest Orchestra under the direction of Troy Arnold Fisher. Featuring the music of Leonard Bernstein, Bobby McFerrin, and more. You won't want to miss this. Last, it's holiday time, and there are many activities to bring us together. You can find more information in the weekly update, on the website, and in the link that will be in the chat and in the order of service. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. If you are online and have a chalice or candle, please join me as we light our chalices together with words adapted from Ray Bradbury and Jamie Dorer. Author Ray Bradbury said, "We are cups, constantly and quietly being filled. The trick is knowing how to tip ourselves over and let the beautiful stuff out." Today, as we light this chalice, we take those little sparks glowing within all of us and combine them to create this flame. Today, we continue drawing on our Christian heritage as we mark the second Sunday in the season of Advent. We light a second candle for peace with these words from Reverend Erica Hewitt. The 4 candles on this wreath count down through the season of winter's dark, leading into the light. Advent is a time of waiting, of cultivating patience. This season asks us to hold faith that all that we are becoming is still awakening under the surface of our lives.
On this second Sunday of Advent, we light the candle of peace with words from Pema Chodron, a Buddhist nun. If we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That's the true practice of peace. May this time of waiting inspire our courage. May we find the soft spot in the pressures of this season and stay with it as we discern our way forward. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be at ease and discover the true practice of peace within us, so that there might be peace in the world. Our opening words this morning are offered by Susan Morrison Hebel. Coming of age never really ends. It is a regenerative and cyclic process, moving a bit forward, a bit back, seeming more an adult 1 minute and less so another. We are children forever, But as adults of whatever faith suits us, we accept the joys and responsibilities of adulthood. We come to terms with the potential for sorrow and loss, for love and continuity, for solitude and community, for vulnerability and strength. And most important, we promise to take care of those coming of age after us. Not necessarily catching them, perhaps, but cushioning them just a bit as they fall off that crazy cliff to adulthood. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together an opening song. Hymn number 298, Wake Now My Senses. Like a lot of hymns in the hymn books of lots of different faiths, there's a lot of Irish music that somehow became hymns, and this particular one is an Irish dance that's known as sleighing. And it's had some pretty spooky lyrics written to it throughout the ages. These are some great lyrics. And I'm going to invite us to sing it in 4/4 instead of 3/4, so if you're a music reader, it might drive you crazy, and you might be better just to watch the lyrics and just groove with the dance. But I invite you to rise, and let's sing Wake Now My Senses in 4/4. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. How you doing? Here we go. Wake now my reason and he'll prove anew. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty of wisdom of time. Suffer the limit and praise the sublime. Souls. Please have a seat.
As we begin today's story time, I invite you to look at your hands, look at your feet, feel your heart beating, feel the breath, and realize that you are a miracle. Truly, we are all miracles. Before any one of us was born, an improbable series of events happened. Matter, evolution, cells, life. Cells came together to become an embryo, to become a fetus, to become you. When in that process did you become you? Where were you before that? This is a mystery. And then we are born. And we are born completely helpless and in need of care and love. In fact, it is the first human task of life to be cared for and loved. And it is how we are cared for and loved that may shape the way that we see the cosmos. Is it a safe and loving universe? And then, for most of us, we begin to be mobile, to move about on our own, however well or badly we do that. And we begin to explore the world. What is all around us? What does it feel like, taste like, smell like? We explore, and hopefully still are held in care and love that keeps us safe as we do that. And then we are children, and the world becomes even larger for us, full of wonder and awe, magic and myth, stories that will remain part of us forever, and really important questions about friendship and fairness and how this world should be. And then we are adolescents. Big questions. What are we capable of? What are we good at? Yes, probably. Yes. Getting in trouble, exploring the edge of possibility, playing with questions of safety, belonging, identity. And again, held in love and community if we are so blessed. And then something strange happens. A day comes along rather arbitrarily and says, "You're an adult." Is that the end of needing care and love and support? Do you know everything you need to know? Can we do everything we're supposed to do? What purpose are we going to fill in the world? Bit by bit, the day may arrive where you feel like you're a real adult, like you've figured something out. You've arrived somewhere. Perhaps you have a profession, a job, a family, a home, a community. You're probably busy doing things you want to do, doing things that are expected or required of you. Either way, it's busy and there's a lot of doing. And is that it? If you found your place? Chances are the communities, the jobs, even the families and relationships aren't perfect. There's probably something not quite perfect. And what do we do with that? Well, is that it? Is that all there is? No, because in fact, the only constant is change. And so change continues to happen. Change in role, change in purpose, changes in health, changes in location, changes in relationship, changes in the world. And some of these changes are losses. And some of these changes are blessings that give us new things. And ultimately, we just have to learn to navigate change. Still always asking, who am I now? What can I do? What is going on? And then the day comes when it's time to say goodbye to being alive in this body. As miraculous as these bodies are, they're not perfect and they don't last forever. And so the day comes. We might have time to prepare. or we might not. We might have time to think about the legacy that we will leave, or we might not. Either way, we all leave a legacy, the legacy of the love, the legacy of what we did in this world. And then, what happens to us after our bodies cease? Where do we go? Again, we return to mystery. So I invite you once again to look at your hands, look at your feet, feel your heart beating, feel that breath entering and leaving, and know that you are a miracle. And the miracle in me sees the miracle in you. Thus ends our story. Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, together we are able to do more than any one of us can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the networks of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, what you share will be gratefully received. The offering collected here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by your regular pledges. And this offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our November and December Share the Plate recipient is Olympia Coalition for Ecosystems Preservation, or llee Ecosystems. Offerings from the Share the Plate will support building steps for people to witness restoration and regrowth in the Cooper Crest Preserve. This is what they share about their work.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Einstein. I'm Land Conservation Director for llee Ecosystems. Some months ago, I gave a presentation to the Environmental Action Committee at the Unitarian Church to talk about our program of environmental stewardship and restoration in and around the Olympia area. We focused that meeting on a preserve, which we call the Cooper Crest Preserve, which is in your neighborhood. It's on Cooper Point Road and 20th Avenue, where a clear cut occurred last summer. Olympia Ecosystems has been engaged in a pretty urgent and thorough restoration effort at that site ever since. We put in over a mile of trails, some of which I'm sure you have walked on. We planted 20,000 native plants, and we mulched many slash piles. Today, 1 year on, that site is full of regrowth. It's quite beautiful to see. We need to weed it somewhat obsessively for the next few years in order for the many trees to come back. It will be decades, of course, a century, before it is what it was. In the meantime, we want to invite the public to come out and witness its rebirth. That's why we put the trails in. This year, we're planning to build 63 steps down a steep slope in order to make that access safe. We want to invite people to come out, and we want to do it safely. And we're trying to raise $18,000 towards that goal. We'd appreciate your help.
Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in our congregations, and every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. May the offering now be generously given, as it is gratefully received.
Where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is blessing. Where there is blessing, there is God. Where there is God, there is no need. All heat, all siritet, all siritet, all beke, all dash, all dash, all eastern, all sikshek,
Thank you so much for your generous gifts in all the ways that you share them. We came together this morning bringing all that is in our lives and in our community. We open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. As we hear the drumbeat today, may it remind us that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. So right now, let's just take a deep breath together, in and out. And may we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our world today. Today is the annual United Nations Human Rights Day, which today marks the 75th anniversary of the passage of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This declaration says in part, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. We place a stone in the water for all people who are not yet living in this possibility. And we place one more stone in the water for all those who are working to make this possibility real. Connie Rule shares that her husband Norm entered hospice care this past week. Norm just celebrated his 99th birthday just a few weeks ago. He has lived with Alzheimer's dementia for some years, receiving care from Connie and others. Norm has had a long life of service and adventure, which he and Connie celebrated with friends and family earlier this fall. Connie, we send our love and care to you and Norm as you journey this nest leg together. Pat Sonnenstahl asks that we hold her and her family in healing light as she has been dealing with health issues for the past 4 months. Pat would welcome phone calls and planned visits. You can find her information in OUC Connect Realm or contact the church office. Pat, we send you our love and care as you navigate your path forward. And last, Liz Clement shares that baby Flynn Olympia arrived last Tuesday, and both she and the baby are well. You can clap for sure. Flynn is now with her 2 dads and her sibling, getting to know each other as they create a new family. Liz is grateful to have contributed to the creation of this new life and to the expansion of her friend's family. What an amazing gift in this season of gratitude and generosity. We send our blessing to Flynn Olympia and her new family. And Liz, we send you our love and care as you recover. For those online, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those of us in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen. And for those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there is something you would like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Please come forward by the side aisle and leave by the center aisle. Let us hold our hearts open as we welcome all that is shared today. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And we'll place one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. I invite you to find a position that best supports your ability to be present as we harmonize our bodies and breath. In a moment, I'm going to start humming, and I invite you to join me. Just pick a note and hum. Change your note or stay on the same one. Harmonize, do whatever moves you. Just hum and feel the vibrations as we create together. I invite you to place your hand on your heart or on your belly so you can feel the vibrations in your body as they join the vibrations of others. We'll hum for a bit, and then when our humming comes to an end, we'll be in silence together.
I invite you to remain seated and let's sing together hymn number 1003. Where do we come from?
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery,
In Unitarian Universalism, many congregations have the practice of a rite of passage for youth of about 13 or 14 years of age called Coming of Age. At OUUC, we offer this program every 2 years for youth in 8th grade or older, and it is one of the great honors of my work here that I get to accompany and witness youth exploring who they are, forming their beliefs, and finding their sense of call and commitment. But of course, coming of age never really ends. Our sense of self, our beliefs, our understandings, and commitments will keep transforming and evolving all through our lives. So this year, I decided to offer coming of age for adults. One of our young adults who did coming of age as a youth commented that this was a great idea, that they were sure their credo today would be totally different than it was just 5 years ago. And it has been wonderful to accompany and witness this class of adults as they have explored the same questions and ideas the youth explore. And so we gather today to witness these people for who they are today at this point in their journey through life.
Good morning. First, I got to say you're all fuzzy because my glasses are weird at the moment, so I have to read what I can read. So, good morning. I am Jasper Llee, and I use she, her pronouns. I've been a spiritual seeker my whole life. When I was a teenager, before I even had any sense of what it meant, I wanted to live a life dedicated to spirituality. As I was raised an Episcopalian in the 60s, what that meant was that I could be a nun. About the same time, though, I read Lord of the Rings, and so I also wanted to be a wizard. And then maybe there's not that much difference in those two. A little later in my life, I came up with what I referred to as the Big Bang theory of God. And I felt that our purpose in life was to live a life that set us or kept us on a path that led us back to God. Since then, I've followed a few diverse paths and practices that I hoped would help guide me to that goal. Then about 5 years ago, I had an amazing epiphany. I don't actually believe in God or any divine entity that created the universe or directs anything that happens in it. The realization was very freeing. It was the kind of relief you feel when you finally tell the truth about something you've been avoiding. But it sort of left me adrift, and it didn't change the fact that I still wanted a spiritual focus in my life. This class has helped me sort through a bit of that. At this point, I believe the only purpose or meaning in life is the purpose or meaning that we bring to it. We live in this world where everything we do has an impact on our environment and the people we share the world with. So I'm committed to living with the intention to reduce the harm and increase the good that my actions create, caring for the environment, caring for my family and friends, and caring for the greater community. My spiritual life, my spiritual practices, help keep me focused on this goal and help me to grow my understanding and my courage so that I can stay on this path. I'm not a nun or a wizard, but the disciplines of deep study, self-reflection, honest connections, simple living, creativity, and reverence for all creation now form the foundation of my practice and make for a life that I believe my teenage self would approve of. Thank you.
What a privilege it is to be here in front of you. Thank you all. And thank you, Jasper. What an inspiration. I'm going to just do what I do every day, which is a practice that I repeat daily. And that may sound kind of boring. It actually changes over time. It's not the same as it was a month ago. It's very similar, but it's not the same. And it's slightly abbreviated in this version. Who I am is this chooser, and I choose love first and foremost. And I choose to be this human. And as this human, I choose who I am, what I do, and what I create, consciously, intentionally, intelligently, hopefully, most of the time, to the best of my ability. And I choose to be in a direct, conscious relationship with these choices all of the time, to the best of my ability. It is toward this end that I do this practice at least once every day. And this practice is a manifestation of my long-term commitment to learn what is here for me to learn with regard to being this human. And I choose to do what is here for me to do moment by moment inside of commitments over time. In this moment, I choose to do this practice exceedingly well inside of a commitment over time, to do this practice exceedingly well at least once every day. And I choose to create what is here for me to create moment by moment inside of commitments over time. In this moment, in every moment, I choose to create being present to and participating in this miracle of love. This is inside of an ongoing commitment to always create being present to and participating in this miracle of love. And this is inside of my largest commitment of all, which is to create me, being who I say I am, doing as I say I will, creating as I intend, love, first and foremost, for everybody, everywhere, all of the time, specifically, complete unconditional love for myself as I am here and now. Complete unconditional love for everybody else, all of you for sure, as you are right now. Complete unconditional love for my species as a whole, as we are all together. Complete unconditional love for this magnificent, miraculous planet, my beloved Mother Earth, and all of the life and love she fosters. Complete unconditional love, humble acknowledgement of, profound gratitude and reverence and wonder and awe in relation to this unfathomable, ineffable, infinite, ongoing, miraculous love creation process that makes this possible, that gives me being. Having said these things, I declare I am complete with this speaking of this part, of my part, of this miracle of love. Thank you for listening.
At this point in my journey, I decided to take a selfie, a snapshot of my life at this moment. What I noticed were three essential elements: music, integrity, and mental health. First, to quote Frank Zappa, without music to decorate it, time is just a bunch of boring production deadlines or dates by which bills must be paid. When I started violin lessons at 7, I discovered that making music with other people was really fun. 60 years later, and having switched from classical violin to Irish fiddle, I still love it. Music is so much a part of me that my bow doesn't feel separate from my arm. I move it as easily as I move a comb through my hair. Music has given me opportunities to play in places like the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts and O'Sullivan's Courthouse Pub in Dingle, Ireland. It's given me the chance to play music in a German Kantorei orchestra, where our only common language was the dots, the music notes on the page. I am grateful to everyone with whom I've ever shared a tune. The second aspect of my selfie is integrity. Brené Brown wrote that integrity is choosing courage over comfort, choosing what is right over what is fun, fast, or easy, and choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. My integrity is still developing, like a Polaroid that's taking forever. My goal is to align my thoughts, words, and actions. I feel out of integrity when they don't match. For example, when I say yes and my heart is telling me no. I've spent a lot of time looking outward for guidance until I recognized that I have everything I need to be in integrity when I bring my awareness to who I am being and how I am being in the world. The third key feature of my selfie surfaced relatively recently: mental health. I experienced a mental health crisis earlier this year and was hospitalized twice. I felt helpless, hopeless, and about this big. Depression and anxiety made me feel so insignificant, I believed no one would miss me. These thoughts were very frightening, and I was ashamed to say anything. Those of us with mental illness can be really good at pretending that all is well. We are afraid to be judged. But by telling the truth, I got the help I needed. Mental illness wears many faces, and one of those faces is mine. Albert Schweitzer said, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person." I'm so thankful to be here and deeply grateful to this community for helping rekindle my light. Thank you.
I'm Janet Spencer, she, her. On my first trip to England, I made a pilgrimage to Westminster Abbey, where the great Brits are buried. I especially wanted to visit the grave of Laurence Olivier. There he was in the Poets' Corner, and the plaque said, "Laurence Olivier, actor, nothing else." I was thrilled, and actually I can feel the thrill again, because that's me too. Janet Spencer, actor. And I'm really glad we stopped genderizing that word. I have always been an actor, even as a child. I'm not comparing myself to Laurence Olivier. I'm not famous, and there were many years when I tried to be something else in order to earn a living. But deep inside, I always knew who and what I was. So I kept going back to acting and directing and teaching acting and admiring what I consider good acting and continuing to work as a performing arts manager to pay the bills. Now I don't have to worry about paying the bills. I'm retired. I have Social Security and I have a pension from my years as a member of the Theatrical Managers Union. I can do anything I want. I directed a couple of plays in New Orleans. I made a couple of short films in Bastrop, Texas. I had a couple of really good roles in Harlequin productions here. I taught an acting class at the church here, and I hope to teach a play reading class in the spring. Plays should be read aloud, at least. I am also planning to offer a murder mystery dinner as part of the OUUC auction. I'm even thinking about starting a business as an acting coach. Even in my dreams, I'm a character in a play. Okay, I know there aren't a lot of plays with characters my age, but I can create my own opportunities. I couldn't help creating the character of Celebrant, but I'm not showing off as a celebrant. I'm offering what I can do and what I can offer to the congregation. I don't really know what the word credo means. But if it's about being your whole self in your whole life, I think maybe I finally figured it out.
Wonderful. For those of you keeping track of what keys we're singing in today, let's sing another song in F minor, shall we? I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing Gathered Here, hymn number 389. It's way more fun to sing it as a round. So let's do it, shall we? 3 times through. Have fun. We'll start over here. 1, 2, ready. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in the mystery of the body. Gathered here in the struggle and the body. Spirit draws near now. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Gathered here in the mystery of the body. Gathered here in the struggle and the body.
we will extinguish our chalice with the words of Darcy Roque. There is too much hardship in this world to not find joy every day. There is too much injustice in this world to not right the balance every day. There is too much pain in this world to not heal every day. Each of us ministers to a weary world. Let us go forth now and do that which calls us to make this world more loving, more compassionate, and more filled with the grace of divine presence every day. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.